Hi everyone. We're just making some paper pots today. There's a few videos online of how to make these guys, but most of them either rely on you buying a form for them or don't seem to work too great. So we developed a little method here that works good for us at least, and I'm just going to show you how we're doing that. You need a can with a curved bottom and another can with a, I'm going to call it concave top or bottom, either one. So this one's got concave on both ends and this one's got our convex end. So if we use these together, we can make a pretty solid base on our pots. The trick to making a good pot is not just to wrap it around the bottom, but actually to wrap it around the bottom and then sink it in and then have the flat bottom on it. So when we stack these two together, if we wrap our paper around this guy and then crush it onto this one, then we get that folding more than 90 degrees effect and actually crimping it. So you can use newspaper. Most people use newspaper for this. I have some of this. It's actually a single layer of a feed sack, and that's what I've been using just because that's what we had on hand. And I'll just show you the method we've been using to make these. So I measure by the can. These guys are 2 inches high, 2 1/4 inches high, and the diameter of a tomato can. We're planting tomatoes today, so it's important that you use a tomato soup can for that. Okay, so I'll measure the height of the can. Go ahead and cut approximately that height on the strip. Oops. Strip needs to be long enough that you get 2 wraps around the can. We've got one here that didn't quite make 2 wraps around the can. You can kind of see the sun coming through there. And it's still holding all right, but I think generally you want to do 2 wraps around the can. At least, if you do a little more, that's all right. And the end of our paper, this one's already kind of naturally at an angle, but you want that angle. If I don't have an angle on there, I tend to fold it. I'm going to fold this one even though I do. It makes it a little stronger on that back edge. And then the long side is your bottom. So move your can in about half the diameter of the bottom in from the bottom edge of your paper, and then start wrapping. You don't have to wrap it super tight, but you want it fairly tight. And when you get to the end, that's the portion you want to tuck in first. So you fold it in first so that all of the other ones go on top of that. Now this is my convex section of the can, so it sinks into below the rim a bit. And I'm getting my convex section of the other can and shoving it in there so that the bottom of the pot is actually crimped beyond 90 degrees. It's actually crimped all the way around that base of that can. Now the center of these isn't actually pressed very well, so use another flat object. I just happen to have a wood cutout, but if you had a can with a flat bottom on it, you can see this is actually recessed. If you have a can with a flat bottom on it, or the handle of something, or anything that you can, even a domino, press into there solid and seal in all of those press marks, and that's your can. That's your planter pot, I should say. Pull your can out. Now you see, because we made a slanted edge on that, it stays tucked in nicely. If it's a straight one, it tends to fold away and then get caught on stuff and just generally be in the way and be a little weaker pot. And that's your pot. So then of course you just put some potting soil in there. We've put some in this one. This was a taller pot that I made when we were still experimenting a bit. But drop your potting soil in there, plant your seeds straight into it. We're planting tomatoes now, so we're 6 weeks ahead of planting them in our garden. And when we plant these in our garden, we'll just plant this right into the hole. You don't have to take it out of the paper. You can, it's easy to take out, but you can plant these straight into your garden. So there you go. That's how you make paper pots. Pretty strong paper pots with a couple of cans. The trick is to have, we'd be wrapping around a can with a concave bottom, a lip on the bottom, and be pressing with a can that's the opposite. So you always do your wrapping on this can. If you do your wrapping on this can, you'll find that it doesn't create a good corner on there and give you that strength on the bottom seam. So that's your system. Press there, press in with something else flat and pull your pot off and you're good to go. Happy planting.